Good afternoon. So we're coming to the end of Book 1. We've reached page 90, almost at the end of Canto 5 of Book 1. In this last section, it's so interesting, through all the experiences 𝐒𝐕 has had in these early stages of his yoga. He's become able to see something of the subtle worlds. And he sees them first arranged in a great series. It says, like a golden ladder, up which the soul can move up and also down. It's connecting the spirit's extremes, both ends of existence. The highest consciousness and the lowest unconscious matter. And that the characteristic of that last high world where all worlds meet, there everything is reconciled and harmonized. All the things that seem to be contradictory and opposed to each other, they find their unity in harmony. So I'm reading on from line 588. I'll read to the end. There was no quarrel more of truth with truth. The endless chapter of their differences, retold in light by an omniscient scribe, traveled through difference towards unity. Mind's winding search lost every tinge of doubt, led to its end by an all-seeing speech that garbed the initial and original thought with the finality of an ultimate phrase. United were time's creative mood and tense to the style and syntax of identity. A paean swelled from the lost musing deeps, an anthem pealed to the triune ecstasies, a cry of the moments to the immortal's bliss. As if the strophes of a cosmic ode, a hierarchy of climbing harmonies, peopled with voices and with visages, aspired in a crescendo of the gods, from matter's abysses to the spirit's peaks. Above were the immortals' changeless seats, white chambers of dalliance with eternity, and the stupendous gates of the alone. Across the unfolding of the seas of self appeared the deathless countries of the One. A many-miracled consciousness, unrolled vast aim and process and unfettered norms, a larger nature's great familiar roads, are franchised from the net of earthly sense, calm continents of potency were glimpsed, homelands of beauty shut to human eyes, half seen at first through wonder's gleaming lids, surprised the vision with felicity, sun belts of knowledge, moon belts of delight, stretched out in an ecstasy of widenesses beyond our indigent corporeal range. There he could enter, there a while abide. A voyager upon uncharted routes, fronting the viewless danger of the unknown, adventuring across enormous realms, he broke into another space and time. You can start, Martin, please.
All the great words that call to express the one were lifted into an absoluteness of light, an ever-burning revelation's fire, and the immortality of the eternal voice.
Yeah, I think we read that last week already. So these great words, these great gospels and messages that the highly developed souls, the avatars, have shared with us, they have tried to give expression to the one Supreme Being. In that supramental world, all those great words, those messages were lifted up into an absoluteness of light, an ever-burning revelation's fire. That is how they appear in the supramental world, in all their shining truth, permanently. And they get expressed in the immortality of the eternal voice. Bhuvana.
There was no quarrel moved truth with truth. The endless chatter of the differences, retold in light by an omniscient Scribe, traveled through difference towards unity. Mind's winding search lost every tinge of doubt, led to its end by an all-seeing spirit that God, the initial and original thought, with the finality of an ultimate phrase.
It's quite a mysterious sentence. The first line is clear, no? There's no more quarreling, there's no more disputing one truth with another. That endless chapter of their differences gets retold in light by an omniscient scribe. A scribe is the one who writes down the stories, no? So when he writes down these different truths and he expresses them in his own way there, this omniscient scribe, he shows all the connections, no? So that endless chapter of their differences is shown to have traveled through difference towards unity. It may seem as if on the roads of earth these truths are different and conflicting, but when we see them from that higher level, it's shown that they are all moving towards the one truth. So in the same way, the winding search of mind, and the whole history of the universe, mind searching for the ultimate truth. When it reaches that high level, it loses every tinge, every faint shadow of doubt, because it is led to the end of its search by an all-seeing speech. This must be the speech of the rishis. They see and they express everything. And that speech, it says, garbed the initial and original thought with the finality of an ultimate phrase. To garb means to clothe. So there's an original thought at the beginning that gets clothed, expressed with the finality of an ultimate phrase. It's having the ultimate last word. So the original thought and the ultimate expression, they are united. And then he says, united were time's creative mood and tense to the style and syntax of identity. These words have to do with grammar. When we are studying grammar, verbs have tenses, past, present, future, and they have moods. We don't use these moods much in English, but there are moods, conditional, subjunctive, and so on. In Sanskrit, the verbs have special forms which show what are the moods, what are the ways in which the verb is being used. In English, of course, we have the tenses. So it says that time, what time is bringing is these tenses and these moods, no? But in that highest level, in that highest world, these things which are products of time or expressions of time get united with the style and the syntax of identity. Syntax is the way that words, verbs, and nouns, and adjectives, and adverbs are all joined together in a sentence.
The structure of the sentence.
This gives the structure of the sentence, yes. So, a writer usually has a style, and some writers can have many styles, humorous styles and serious styles. We see Sri Aurobindo's many, many different poetic styles as we go through the poem. So here again, it's the idea of everything being united and the connection between time and oneness and difference all being united.
Shraddhavan, I have one question. Near Sri Aurobindo, who is omniscient scribe?
Sorry?
Near Sri Aurobindo, who is omniscient scribe?
The omniscient scribe.
You have some near some bicycle. Is omniscient.
Well, of course, Sri Aurobindo used to refer to Nirod as his scribe, but Nirod never claimed to be omniscient. This is a different kind of scribe. Yeah, yeah. Even Amalkiran didn't claim to be and couldn't claim to be omniscient. No. This is on another level again altogether. This is on the level of the supermind. Then, yes, Kanapan.
Ganesha Vinayaka,
Yes.
he was a scribe.
He was a scribe.
Omniscient scribe.
Yes, that's very interesting about him. that he broke off his tusk to write with, and he said, I will try to keep up with you, yes, but I will not write down until I have understood the meaning of the phrase. Have I got it right?
Actually, he put that condition.
He put that condition.
He says, this is unstoppable,
You have to keep going and going and going.
Then he gives a
So then Vyasa made up these complicated sentences that Ganesha had to pause and think about, so that Vyasa has time to compose some more. Thank you. So I think with that line about the time's creative mood and tense being united to the style and syntax of identity, I think that's where the passage about the supermind stops. Now Sri Aurobindo is seeing the whole, Aswapati is seeing the whole picture of all those worlds. And he says, earlier he described it as an organ scale, mounting to its climax. So he returns to that image, the image of a paean. A paean is a Greek word for a hymn, a song of triumph. No? So it's as if from the lost musing deeps in the base of things, that wonderful music is starting, and an anthem pealed to the triune ecstasies, to the Satchidananda, the ecstasies at the very peak of things. And this is a cry of the moments, of the manifestation in time, to the bliss, the timeless, eternal and infinite bliss of the immortal.
What is the P-P-A?
A paean, I said, paean. A song of triumph.
P-E-A-L, peal.
A peal. Yes, a peal is a loud ringing as of bells or of many voices. Pealing. That's what bells do. Yeah.
Because the same pronunciation for peeling a skin of some fruit or onion.
Yeah, that's a P-double-E-L.
Same pronunciation.
Yes, English is full of those things. Yeah. So that paean, that great song, it's corresponding to this level, this scale of different tones, these many different worlds. Another way that the poet describes it is as the strophes of a cosmic ode. An ode is another kind of ancient Greek poem. This is a universal poem, and it has many verses. Strophes are long, complex verses of an ode. So this hierarchy of climbing harmonies. Nobody's read this yet? No? Right, okay. Kamla, would you read it, please? Start with a paean.
A paean swelled from the last musing deeps, an anthem pealed to the
triune
ecstasies, a cry of the moments to the immortal bliss.
Yes, a paean. So I explained paean, no? An anthem, it's a sacred song, also of praise. It rings out, and that song is offered to the triune ecstasies, 3 in 1. We can speak of biune and triune, things that are 2 or 3 things that are united. The triune ecstasies, I think it's the worlds of
What are the contents of the three triune? Contents of the triune, what make the triune? Like Satchidananda.
There are many trinities, actually. There's matter, life, mind. There's existence, consciousness, bliss. So you have to decide. There are other trinities also. But I think this must be that triune, that 3-in-1 of Satchidananda, which is at the summit of the manifestation. So all this is as if the whole of time is calling to the bliss of the immortal and the transcendent worlds. Patricia.
As if the strophes of a cosmic ode, a hierarchy of climbing harmonies, peopled with voices and with visages, aspire in the crescendo of the gods, from matter's abysses to the spirit's peaks.
So this is developing that same picture, the golden ladder with its many different levels. And soon in the next book, the first canto of the next book, we'll see the same picture developed as the stair of worlds. We start to get that idea here. So these verses of a wonderful song, this hierarchy of climbing harmonies, one world after another, all harmonies, and they're peopled with voices and with visages, just like on a Gopuram, the faces looking down. We can hear the voices are singing, aspiring, rising higher and higher, and getting louder and louder. Crescendo is a term in music, which means that it gets louder and louder. It starts from the very depths of matter, and it rises up to the summits of the spirit.
The crescent is also having the moons, growing.
Crescendo. Yes, the moon is growing. A crescent moon is getting bigger. So crescendo, it's an Italian word, and it's an instruction in music that here the music has to get louder and louder and louder. It has to grow. Yeah. Sarojini, above.
Above where the immortals changeless shapes, where chambers of
dalliance
with eternity, and the stupendous gates of the alone.
So there's this pile of worlds, this ladder of worlds. And right at the top, above, are the changeless seats of the immortals, the immortal beings who are beyond space and time. That's where they sit. And there are these white chambers, these rooms, absolutely white and pure, of dalliance with eternity. It's a meeting place, a point where all the differences of manifestation meet the eternal world. Dalliance is like flirting. You know what flirting is? Yeah? Playful talk between lovers. Dalliance. It's not serious, no?
Go on, talk.
playful talk. Yes. So here there's a communication going on between eternity and all the happenings of time. And there are the stupendous gates of the alone, the entrance to the Supreme. Shamala, would you read?
Yes. Across the unfolding of the seas of self appeared the deathless countries of the one.
Continue.
A many-minuted consciousness unrolled, vast aim and process and unfettered norms, a larger nature's great familiar course.
Yes. So, what Asvapati is seeing is the fields of self. This is not outer landscapes, these are inner psychological landscapes. And there he sees all those deathless countries where things don't die. These are not physical, mortal worlds. These are the deathless countries which are the expression of the one in all. And there he sees, with this unfolding of these seas, oceans of self, he sees that a many-miracled consciousness, the conscious force, is unrolling, expressing vast aim, process, and unfettered norms, things that we are not familiar with here at all. Norms are standards, but these standards are unfettered, they are limitless. What he's seeing is the great familiar roads of a larger nature, not this physical, material, universal nature that we know about, something on a much, much vaster scale. Suresh.
Of fancies from the net of earthly scenes, all
continents
of potency were things, homeland of beauty shed to human eyes, oft seen at first growth, wonders, gleaming deeds, surprise the vision with felicity, centers of knowledge, moon belts of light, stretched out in an ecstasy of
widenesses,
widenesses beyond our
indigent corporeal
range.
Right. So this is what Asvapati is seeing. Now he's able to see into that larger nature. He's set free, or he sees places that are set free. Affranchised means liberated from the net of earthly sense. Sri Aurobindo often speaks of our senses as a kind of net in which we catch things. So these things he's seeing now can't be caught by the earthly senses. He sees whole continents. Continents are huge land masses, solid, calm continents of potency, power, full of power. They were glimpsed. homelands of beauty that have always been closed to human eyes. We couldn't see them. Now he half sees them at first through wonder's gleaming lids, as if his eyes are half closed and his the eyes are full of light. That's those things that he's seeing, those continents and homelands, surprised the vision with felicity. His power of vision is delighted by these things that he's seeing. And he sees sun belts of knowledge, whole areas that are bright like sunlight. And there are other whole regions, moon belts of delight. The moon is connected with soma, with delight, with bliss. So he sees these sun belts and these moon belts stretching out in an ecstasy of widenesses, far, far beyond our indigent corporeal range. Indigent means very poor, very limited. Our range of experience is very limited because it's based on physical bodies. Corporeal means bodily. Devan.
There he could enter, there a while abide, a voyager upon uncharted routes, fronting the viewless danger of the unknown, adventuring across enormous realms, he broke into another space and time.
Yes. So this is where he leaves our earth and becomes the traveler of the subtle worlds. First of all, he can see those things, and then he realizes that he's allowed to enter into that other universe and stay there for some time. He can become a voyager, a traveler on uncharted routes, routes that have never been mapped. And of course, when you are an adventurer into the unknown like that, or facing the viewless danger of the unknown, you don't know what dangers are waiting there. But he's an adventurer. He's adventuring across enormous realms. Everything is on a much, much larger scale there. He's leaving our space and time and entering another kind of space and time.
This harmony was repeated, no? Harmony.
Yes.
Is it reflecting the words in the evolution of the mother? All contraries prepare the harmony.
Her harmony.
Any connection between these two?
Yes, of course. This supramental world which he's seeing is the home of the mother. It's the truth world. Yes. Can you remember the lines that come after that? No? It says that she brings two kinds of bliss.
Our knowledge climbs, our passion ropes.
No.
All contraries prepare
her harmony. Then?
After that?
Yes.
Towards her, our knowledge climbs, our passion ropes.
Yes.
In her miraculous rapture we shall dwell.
Yes.
Her glad shall turn to ecstasy our pain.
Yes, go on.
Our self shall be one self with all through her.
Our self will be one self with all through her. And then?
In her, conformed because transformed in her. Our life shall find in its fulfilled response above the boundless hushed beatitudes below the wonder of the
embrace divine. So there above it will enjoy the supreme beatitudes, but it will also enjoy here on earth the embrace divine. That's the gift the mother brings. Reconciling bliss.
4 or 5 lines for the finishing of that.
Yeah, when he realizes that, who she is and what her gift is, that changes everything for him. Yes. So I think we'll stop there for today. I don't think we should launch into the Traveller of the Worlds just yet. But we can go back to the break on page 88 and read from there and notice how subtly Sri Aurobindo prepares this entry into the other worlds. First he gives this image of the Gopuram, no? This magic porch, and then there are these high immensities and all the unknown looking down from boundlessness. And there are the bodies, all those beings from the other worlds. He somehow gets a glimpse of them looking down at him. And then we'll read on from here. At the break on page 88. There was no quarrel more of truth with truth. The endless chapter of their differences, retold in light by an omniscient scribe, travelled through difference towards unity. Mind's winding search lost every tinge of doubt, led to its end by an all-seeing speech that garbed the initial and original thought with the finality of an ultimate phrase. United were time's creative mood and tense to the style and syntax of identity. A paean swelled from the lost musing deeps, an anthem pealed to the triune ecstasies, a cry of the moments to the immortal's bliss. As if the strophes of a cosmic ode, a hierarchy of climbing harmonies, peopled with voices and with visages, aspired in a crescendo of the gods from matter's abysses to the spirit's peaks. Above were the immortal's changeless seats, white chambers of dalliance with eternity, and the stupendous gates of the alone. across the unfolding of the seas of self, appeared the deathless countries of the One. A many-miracled consciousness unrolled vast aim and process and unfettered norms, a larger nature's great familiar roads. Affranchised from the net of earthly sense, calm continents of potency were glimpsed, homelands of beauty shut to human eyes, half seen at first through wonder's gleaming lids, surprised the vision with felicity. Sun belts of knowledge, moon belts of delight, stretched out in an ecstasy of whitenesses beyond our indigent corporeal range. There he could enter, there a while abide, a voyager upon uncharted routes, fronting the viewless danger of the unknown, adventuring across enormous realms. He broke into another space and time.